Hello there, thanks for playing World of Tanks, and thanks for taking a look at this World of Tanks video. This one's not going to be anything too special in terms of stats or overall gameplay performance. Certainly no amazing numbers. This is going to be a pretty simple, straightforward match. And a lot of what we're going to try to figure out here with this one is how to watch the minimap, how to pay attention to the deployment of the ally vehicles and the deployment of the enemy vehicles, and use the information to make important decisions about our own course of action here, our own deployments, things like that, how we respond to what we see. So you got more or less an open map here, as opposed to something with tall buildings like a city map, stuff like that, but open maps with long view ranges, long lines of fire, things like that. So you see me creeping up over this hill when that Cromwell becomes visible, creeping over the hill and giving my reticle opportunity to slow down as I look for a shot opportunity that never takes place. Alright, so taking a quick look at our team's deployment and the enemy team's deployments. They got that medium out there over in the middle, they got a light up north. We got some guys up on the hill there around E8, 9. A couple light tanks toward the middle, keeping an eye on things. That's pretty good positioning. Medium and destroyer covering the back corner of our spawn for some reason. Guys, they have a lot of reds right in there. G1 through H3, and they have two heavies that just disappeared right in there at H3. So they have a lot of guys right in that area there. Look at that. A lot of big vehicles. You saw me switch over to the armor piercing, the APCR, armor piercing composite rigid ammunition just a little bit ago after I saw some of those vehicles that were over there. I decided to go ahead and try to, take some shots into that great, formidable gathering of enemy vehicles over there. Chip away at some of their hit points with this gun. Alright, so now what we're trying to do, realistically speaking, is get those enemy heavies to move forward toward our position, toward my position, if you will. To expose themselves, to expose their holes, and give us shots on their holes. And you see here the Gorn is poking over the top. Now this destroyer, the D-28 prototype guy, I asked him to fall back a few times there, so he's kind of finally doing that to pull those enemy vehicles back towards us. Otherwise he was like following them back. Basically he was allowing the enemy vehicles to pull him into their position so that they all had shots on his hole. Anyway, so he did finally pull back. Nevertheless, he has 260 hit points, it looks like, right there. So he's a one-shot for a lot of these vehicles. Certainly a two-shot for any of them, except for maybe the light tanks. So we had the Goranch poking over. We've got the Carnarvon right there. He's going as far south as he can get, basically, to go around there and then come east at us. So they're definitely testing these waters. And here the Tiger 2 comes forward. At this point, I'm recognizing that they're all coming south, testing the waters, recognizing that they're able more or less to push over that ridge or come around those bends there and come east without really getting shot up too much. And there you see that T-28 prototype getting taken out, and he was really the kind of that position holder, that placeholder there for our team. All right, so here I'm going north. Expecting all those heavies to push east toward our spawn, toward our capture point, most likely. Now, I could come up here north, and I have perhaps an opportunity to get some shots at some of these enemy vehicles in the northeast corner. Maybe even push toward the north and kind of shoot their sides as perhaps they're facing off against my allies along the E line. Now you see I'm taking care here, based on the information that I've seen on the mini-map, taking care to stay relatively low beneath horizon lines, finding the low ground with earth rising up on the sides, on my sides here. And that medium straight south of me almost spotted me. I think he was, but there's some really high ground there, and he's kind of in that little water path beneath some really high mounds of rock and things like that. So you can kind of see by this point in time, I'm getting pretty close to the enemy capture point, and there might be an enemy up ahead about to spot me. So let's see what we see. Now at this point I'm basically more or less going full throttle right toward that flag, which is the fastest way to get into the capture point. Going straight to the middle of the circle. Okay, so nothing's spotted me up quite yet. Light tank, that Lycan, he's a little ways out there. You can see on the mini-map, even though as I'm looking at his name and hit points and stuff, he looks like he could be pretty close. He's a little ways away. Looks like he's probably heading straight toward me though. Okay, so as we, you see him up the BC3, little valley there coming right for us. Why is it that I would come here as opposed to fighting those enemy vehicles? Well, first of all, I'm about to perhaps fight one of them, but look at that shot on the move. Yeah, a little help from my ally. I'll take that. Don't want to get penetrated, lose capture points and capture clock at this point. So why would I come up here as opposed to fighting with my ally? So basically what we had was like E7 through E0. And the enemy team more or less had the entire rest of the map. So best case scenario, we're fighting enemies on 3 flanks, and we have securely we have 3 squares worth of map territory to fight on. Basically that hill and that little valley at like E90 would have been basically what we had to fight to defend. We would have had probably enemies north at like D89 or northward from that position, firing at the enemies or the vehicles that we had at like E89. And we would have had vehicles, if they weren't just capturing our base, they would have been coming up at us, from that ramp at like F8 up to that hill at E89, firing at us otherwise from, all sides basically, except for the far east. So yeah, that's why I didn't just hang out or try to use my mobility and fight the enemy vehicles off. Also, think about that, they had basically a full health Gornich, really good armor when it's top tier, almost a full health Tiger too, really good tier 8 heavy, and what was it, basically a full health Carnarvon. Really good vehicle, really good, fast firing, high penetration type of a gun, good frontal turret armor, that kind of thing. If you use it well, it's certainly a really effective vehicle. So they had those vehicles, and whatever else they had, back down in the southwest, a couple other vehicles. I'm not for sure what was all down there. Of course, a light or two, and then whatever else they had in the northeast corner. That would have been. Now, is it possible that we could have taken all those guys out together if I had run around and fought them? Yeah, it's possible. I think the greatest chance we had for the win was going for the capture. Thanks for playing World of Tanks. Thanks for taking a look at this World of Tanks video.